Hey, young world! What is good? Welcome back to Meet Meow Wolf. I'm your host, Dose One, and I am here with...
Quinn Fati.
Hi, Quinn!
Hi.
How is your Monday?
My Monday is good. Been working since about 8:45 a.m.
At the House of Wolf?
At the House of Wolf.
The House of Eternal Wolf.
Yeah, the
Here in
Meow
Santa
Wow.
Fe. Meow Wow. Awesome. Do you dream a lot?
Do I dream? No, actually, I don't dream at all.
Yeah, okay.
No.
I had a dream about, I kept getting my face taped shut, and I woke up and I was congested.
Oh.
I was thinking about it all day.
That's real.
Yeah. You know, nothing like that. You don't have like mundane.
No, straight up, I don't dream.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
You're just out.
Yeah, I'm just like out. I'm
Corpse
just, like,
rest.
Yeah, like my body's just like ready to die at any minute.
Oh, I love it. Not standing in line. So speaking of standing in line, what do you do at Meow Wolf?
Mostly I sling wristbands.
Yeah.
And I find kids who are separated from their parents.
Oh, does that happen a lot?
Oh, that happens literally twice a day, every day.
Oh my God! Do you have to be tender? That happened to me as a young lad.
Yeah, and I mean it's really cool because like I don't know, talking to kids about like Meow Wolf is always different than talking to adults because they're like.
Do tell.
Because they totally still have that like very genuine sense of like wonderment, whereas like adults are kind of a little more jaded and like it's like, oh, what's this? And
It's a bowling alley with
they're
rooms
like,
in it.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like kids, like some kids really get into like the narrative and get really into like, where's Lex and like what happened to the family and like what did Lucius do and like getting to like play to that like sense of the imagination with kids is like really cool.
Do you find that a lot of the kids make it to like a certain spot in the narrative and cap out, or do they like quest all throughout it?
Some kids really get through it. Like they really go, like they really sit down and they really commit to reading, which is kind of impressive. Because like when I was a kid, I was just like, I gotta go run around.
Right. It's not a video, but this is a living video. You would think for the right kid, it would totally.
Like, and like for a lot of kids, it's like this really cool thing that they get to uncover and like it's like that sense of like knowing that like they solved it is like always really rewarding for them, which is dope.
And it's still happening to a kid.
Yeah.
The whole place.
Yeah.
Every room, all the stories. So then in that regard though, is it super intense when a child is lost in a fictional forest? Are they like double down lost, or are they?
I haven't had like maybe one kid in particular was like really shook.
Oh no.
But no, like most kids are really cool. Like most kids are just like, oh yeah, I think maybe they're over here. I remember them being by like a big dinosaur, and they're talking about the mastodon, and like
so
stuff
great.
like that. Like it's just it's cool.
Follow the kid's path. Okay, so and technically that you are called a docent.
Yes, I am a docent.
And so you do, sometimes it's wristbands at the booth, and you sort of talk about the narrative, right? You have you give a digestible spiel.
Yeah, we've been cutting down on the spiel, especially for summer. So now we've got like somebody who like stands outside and basically yells the spiel at like a huge crowd of people.
Listen up.
Yeah, and then like they come in and we're just like, don't eat, don't drink, don't chew gum.
Right.
Here's the
That's
bathroom.
another spiel.
Here's the entrance. Go.
Yeah.
Go nuts.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Have fun. Just no gum.
Yeah.
Wow. So when did you first start working at House of
So
Eternal
I
Return?
started around like mid-October of 2017.
Oh, awesome. Right before Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right before Halloween.
Crazy season. So, and do you do art as well?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I do art outside of Meow Wolf. I do a lot of like 3D painting. So I basically have been like layering paper and chicken wire that like I sew into a canvas and make like these huge like textured paintings.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So formal and abstract though? It's like reliefed?
Yeah.
Whoa, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did art first come to you? You didn't start doing that as a child? I love that idea. Though.
Yeah, I didn't start doing specifically that as a kid, but I've always been really interested in like I guess, pushing the boundaries of mediums.
Oh, cool.
Like when I was a kid, I would like get into my parents' like spice rack, and I would use honey as like an adhesive, and I would like smear it like all over whatever surface I could get a hold of. I would like cut up cardboard boxes and like layer like stuff onto it.
That's so great.
Because like
did you have glue? Were they pissed? They were like, we have glue.
No, actually, I was like, because I was trying to figure out, because we had tape, but we didn't have glue for that, and so I was like, I'm gonna go for it.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Wow. And then kind of doing sculpture and drawing is how you first started. Do you have formal training? Did you go do any training or self-taught?
I didn't go to art school. I did go to college, but I went for art history and political science.
Oh, cool.
And then like my it would have been my junior year. I took like one art class, and I was just like, "This is actually sick.
This is what
Like this is pretty tight. I'm gonna do this."
That's so great.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what did you start with once you were like a more formed you?
I don't know. I've always been really like I've always been really passionate about like research and like storytelling and like truth telling in particular.
Cool.
So I've always been like I've always been really interested in like interviewing people about like specific things. Like for when I'm making art pieces, I get like really passionate about like a specific emotion that like you feel, and then I start interviewing people around me about like that feeling, and then I take like that and I translate it into paintings.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great to have it be so drilled down in what you're trying to execute, and then it comes out in an abstract way.
Yeah.
After drilling down.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that's like the closest way that we can like genuinely embody humanism is through abstraction, because like that's really the only universal thing that we have.
Yes, 100%. I always think about people that like what I see as green, just the slight variations in the human eye, and then you think about emotions.
Yeah.
And how one would interact with something as complex as like anger or love or all those other like gigantic blanket terms.
Yeah, because I mean, I think those are like really the only things that we have. Because like even for things like color, right? Like there's some languages that only have like words for only two colors.
What?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like I can't remember what country it is. I want to say it's Mali, but there's this guy who's from Mali, and he was in like this remake of Purple Rain. But
like Mali style?
Yeah, but it was like entirely like West Africa, like super. Wow. It was super dope. But the name of the movie was the rain that falls in between the colors of blue and red, because they don't have a word for purple.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you just got to walk around saying some permutation of blue and red toward other colors. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Where's you should wear your pink blouse? And they're like, what? And you're like, it's like red when you leave it in the sun.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be this.
Exactly.
You got to be creative about these two colors.
Yeah, like this isn't green. It's somewhere between blue and yellow.
Right. But how do you get yellow? That's amazing. Oh, I love it.
Right?
That's so great. That's baffling. So, speaking of oddities in the universe, what do you have, like, any obsessions, long-standing obsessions that you find yourself caught up in, or inspirations too?
Okay.
Just things, artists, nature, whatever you get it from.
I'm always really passionate about art history. I think that history is like super important. I think especially like as it pertains to community, you got to know where you come from in order to like keep going. So lately I've been reading a lot about Iranian modernist groups.
Do tell.
Yeah. So back in the 1930s, basically, they were coming out of Qajar portraiture, which was this like era of like Persian royalty. It's actually my tattoo on this arm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Serious beard.
It's like, yeah, and it's like this huge like 7x9 like portrait. So they're coming out of that, these like not hyper realistic, but like this like flirtation with like realism.
And like are the religious eras and other cultures
yeah,
sort of
and
gilded and
like
okay.
super, like very like royal portraiture, and like nobody else gets like portraits done, basically.
Yes, yeah, sure.
And so they started gravitating towards more symbolic and more basically gravitating towards abstraction. You start seeing like what we would call like color field painting or surrealism or surrealist paintings. That really started like getting its heyday in Iran in like the 1930s.
Wow.
So I've been really into that. Let's see, ever since I was in high school, I've always been really into Edward Said, who's this English professor at Columbia, but he like really what really launched him into like the academic purview was his work Orientalism, which is about how what would be considered the Orient at the time, so like most of like West Asia, North Africa, Southwest Asia, all that good stuff, and how the Orient isn't like actually a place but like a thought, because it's created as the opposite to the Occident, which is like the West.
Right.
And how the only reason that like the Orient exists in the academic mind is through this representation via the Occident.
Right. To separate and declare. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too true.
Yeah, and so I've been obsessed with him from like a very early age, and then I'm also really into this dude Tim Ingold, who writes about wayfaring, which is so it's like basically the idea of the body in motion. So like if you were to track human movement as a physical entity. So he does a lot of philosophical works about that.
Like one individual or
yeah,
all?
so like one individual.
Okay,
so like the motion of one individual across like the planet, for example.
Sure.
Like tracking that motion and what would it look like if you like brought it into like a physical reality.
Wow, I think about all these people that just get on the train and go to work.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm one of them. Like,
right.
like it's me between like Albuquerque and Santa Fe, and that would be like a very heavy line.
Yeah. I think that there's something though I do realize always in my like deepest, most base human self that I do like patterning.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I definitely long to not do it at a point, which I also feel in the same gut. There's like two guts.
Yeah.
But it feels good to like do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's true of like all human behavior. It's like, that's why like people get into like these routines or like, I don't know, monogamous relationships or like really long-standing friendships, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. And they all have, it's not a perfect, it's funny. I think it's not the perfect way to be, but it is like humans really take to it, like fish in water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Standing by something. It's really cool. So, what else are you passionate about besides art history, art? Do you have other things that you enjoy?
I really love that video of Bjork taking apart a television.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my god, I'm gonna send it to you. It's so
please.
good.
Oh, that sounds
It's so good. It's just Bjork like taking apart this television and her just like talking about like all the different mechanics of it, and she's like, and this is where like this little troll lives, and he walks across this bridge, and like, yeah, it's so good.
Oh my
you guys,
god,
it's so good.
So it's Bjork. It's not like suddenly you realize how much Bjork knows about modern electronics.
No, it's Bjork being herself, dismantling a television.
Dude.
Yeah.
God, that sounds great. See, you don't need dreams when you got stuff like that on the YouTube.
Yeah, I got YouTube.
That's amazing,
like, I'm
man.
fine.
Wow, that is so good.
I'm obsessed with that. I really love Vine videos.
Oh, rest in peace, Vine.
R.I.P. Vine.
Yeah, I love me Vine. Jesus.
God, yeah, literally, that's like what I want my funeral to be, is just like a projector slide and just like 6 hours of Vine compilations.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was the
so
poetry
good.
of video. You can approximate that length in other social medias. It's not the same as looping vines.
Yeah.
I would wake up every day and just
Yeah.
Hey, look at this one.
Yeah.
Hey,
that would be a lot of my social hangouts with us being like, oh, look at this Vine. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, rest in peace. And, and what do they do? How did that? That's one of those things you wonder about.
Yeah.
Like, that was sliced bread. How did that go away?
Yeah, literally.
had
Like,
it.
what happened?
It was so
I
good.
don't know.
I don't know. Me neither. Minute Tube. So, yeah. And then tell me about your favorite collaborative work.
My favorite collaborative work.
That you've been a part of?
My favorite collaborative work actually has nothing to do with art, but one of my best friends, there was a brief moment where there's DIY space in Albuquerque called Fly Honey Warehouse, got shut down for like a few months.
Still shut down?
No, they're back. They're back.
good.
They're back. They're better than ever. But they got shut down for a few months, and so on the day that they got shut down, my best friend and I rented out a portable, a generator. We rented out like a big old generator, and we were just like, DIY spaces are everywhere, you dingus. And so like we went out to the glass graveyard and like set up this generator and then like had like a show and like about like 70 people showed up.
That's great.
And it was dope. It was so dope.
Great.
So we kept doing that. So we would like go to glass graveyard.
I'm just imagining this glass graveyard.
Yeah, so there's
It's not, is it?
pretty much.
What?
So in Albuquerque, back in like the I want to say it was around 1910s, 1920s, there was this big old glass factory. It's like glass manufacturing factory. And what happened is it caught on fire.
Whoa.
And then something inside of it exploded. So there's all of this like worn down glass that has been there for almost 100 years now.
Whoa.
In
That
Albuquerque,
is not what I was
like
picturing.
right alongside
I
the
love
Rio
it, though.
Grande. It's so cool.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so we would throw shows in there. We would throw shows along the Rio Grande. We would throw shows in these like big old sand dunes in the South Valley.
Just your generator and a rickshaw.
Pretty much,
Dragging
like
around.
we would get somebody with like a pickup truck, and
That's
then
awesome.
like 4 like jacked folks who were there just trek it out in the like
Or
2 miles.
Eight
yeah,
sick people.
yeah,
Since you drag that on Rue.
yeah, 4 bears, 8 twinks.
Yeah,
like-
yeah, right. Done and done. Or some combination of
yeah,
that.
maybe 6 folks.
That's so great.
But
7
yeah.
otters. Yeah, that's so cool, man. Yeah, love it. So, and then your favorite solo piece.
Your favorite solo piece. I did this big ol' painting about my relationship with my mom. It was like at this very like tumultuous point, and she and I have had this very like on and off relationship. And like it was like literally it was like the first day of like actual summer. I just like sat outside and I was just like, I'm gonna feel these feelings, and I'm just gonna sit with these feelings for like 6 hours, and it's just gonna be me and this Modelo and this paintbrush, and it's gonna be great. And so yeah, so it was like this like weird like therapeutic process, and it turned out to be like literally probably one of my best paintings I've ever made.
Yeah, that's the joy when you can actually get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
You get your head out. You're just a vessel.
Yeah.
It's really, yeah. And I think that I wish on everyone in some form because of that therapy, what people get, what we were talking about earlier from sports, what you get out of exercise, what you get at runner's high.
It's that like
there was this
catharsis.
artist high. Yes, you just actually let it go through you. It's like true vesseling.
Yeah.
It's really, you get, that's interesting. Artists get famous for doing that and then become like who they are. They become the Mick Jagger,
Yeah.
They stop vesseling.
Yeah.
But I wish for a world where everyone just vessels and is famous for vesseling so well.
Yeah, or just like I wish everybody wouldn't be afraid to like genuinely feel their feelings, you know?
That's even without art on the extension end.
Yeah.
Yes, I wish that for everyone. I was talking to someone earlier today, talking about the brains of male and female brain real estate, and there's basic portions of the brain that are larger and smaller in the two genders, and it's interesting how, like, but the point of that was that it is actually that men have a wider range of emotion, but because of social constructs and so on and so forth, process it in a way where it is perceived as less, and in fact,
Totally.
affected on the universe as less. coming out as violence.
Yeah.
Narrowed in its expression to a point. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's intense.
Yep. So, anyway, how about them Dodgers? Would you like to, now that we've gotten to know one another at length, I would like to run you through some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
About things you like in this universe.
Yes.
It's your favorites. You know, you can, if you get stumped, it's okay. We can move on. There's no money involved. Yet. Chris, can we have a clock? Dong! Okay, what is your favorite unhealthy food?
Cheetos.
Yes. What is your favorite band name?
Oh, next. There's too many good ones.
What is your favorite fake band name?
Just like the entire, like, there's always good ones on the band name Slack.
Right.
Those
It's
ones.
hard you can never remember them.
I can never remember them when I need them most.
When the money's on the line.
I know.
What is your favorite island?
My favorite island, Seychelles.
What is your favorite spring activity?
My favorite spring activity? It's lame, but I really love hiking. Hiking's great.
It is. What is your favorite tuber?
Tuber, cassava.
What is your favorite novel?
Perdido Street Station by China Meow.
Awesome. And your favorite barn animal?
Goats.
Yes.
Easy.
Awesome. I had no idea cassava was a tuber.
Yeah, yuccas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure they're tubers.
I got to dig more.
Yeah. They're in there somewhere.
Down there with the sandworms.
Yeah.
Giant cassava that I can ride.
Yeah, dude.
Off into the sunset. I love it. Quinn, thank you for being on Meet Meow Wolf. Great to get to know you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Well, world, I hope your Monday, Tuesday, and all the days thereafter as they loop are just utterly perfect. We'll see you next time. Bye.
I have ascended beyond the lifted veil and can now easily recognize how minuscule our existence in Mendocino really was.
We were a contained little box of earthly ignorances, dreaming up superficial storylines of portals and positive mechanics, selling transformation like it was a product on an infomercial.
And yet simultaneously, what happened on that day, in that dining room, inside our family's home, has caused ripples to converge like tidal waves throughout a rapidly destabilizing multiverse. It is crystal clear to me now.
In this eternal moment,
The story has only begun, and we were merely the prelude.
We know now that beings busy themselves with concerns, regarding Earth with envious.
Columbia system and its affiliated present and the Mercury.
culture kind of saved my life.
I feel like that invigorates the city.
It gives artists a chance to contribute to the community.
It is so important that we have artists and ideas and these think tanks where our community can really come together.
DIY spaces don't have a consistent revenue stream, and they usually don't have the bandwidth to get up to these codes.
In 2016, there was a fire at a DIY art space called Ghost Ship.
I remember seeing other venues starting to get shut down, so we did like a little town hall style meeting.
This is your community. Keep it going.
Instead of telling us, you can't do this, it's not safe, help us make this safe.
Our goal is to give over $250,000 to DIY art spaces across the country, but we need your help to get there.
Meow Wolf is putting up the first $100,000 to help reach our $250,000 goal. Join our movement today by contributing at meowwolf.com/DIY.
The art world needs to get shaken up a little bit.
It's time for us to just be an agitator.
We don't know what we're doing, and we don't care.
We didn't want rules.
Not only is this crazy, but it's possible.
This is the new art.
It's incredible. Meow Wolf have done something truly unique.